of the things that matters in terms of housing affordability and competitiveness in the region is the workforce shortage that we're hearing back increasingly from employers. It's really the number one issue that we hear in Egan and throughout the region. And that workforce issue is in part an access to affordable housing issue as well. Those things collide in a way that's very unproductive for the region competitively. I think what's encouraging is that the business sector is realizing that they can no longer watch this as a social issue from the bench, but they really have to get in the game and pay attention to it because it's a matter of their business and their business's competitiveness and functioning. And I think what's most important is that we reframe the affordable housing issue not as a moral imperative, not as a political issue, but as an economic development issue with an economic and a competitiveness imperative to it. So the more businesses that can get out and really make their workforce challenges into housing challenges and understand them through that lens, I think the more helpful it is for local leaders like me and across the region to try to work together in partnership to address those issues. It's an opportunity for us really to get a leg up on some of the markets that we're competing with.
Talent migration matters because people are our competitive advantage. In the Twin Cities, by year 2020, we will have a talent gap of over 100,000 people. This is a crisis. So what's it going to take to drive performance? It means that we have to be able to attract and retain more talent here. We have a lot of competition across the country. How do we make Minneapolis and St. Paul stand out? One of the indicators of the talent migration is actually up on the dashboard this year. We're super proud of that. We don't compete with each other. We're actually coming together to compete against other metro markets. In order to raise visibility to this, we all have to get involved. How do we come together as a single entity to sell this region, to be able to attract and then retain those individuals? So together we can make a huge difference by sharing ideas and not competing with each other, but competing against the other markets in the country.
The new growth in an environment comes from true innovation, right? You want to be a magnet to attract the best and proceed forward. In a world which is changing constantly, if you're not growing, if you're not innovating, if you're not keeping up or accelerating from where we were before, it's the same as declining. So, I mean, it's the key indicator, in my opinion, for how prosperous a region is going to be in the future. By and large, what I'm talking about is totally disruptive new technology, which is really what startups are about. And that, I believe, is where we have breakthroughs which are totally paradigm changing. So we really have to make it a high priority, and that really means that the established players in the business, they need to come forth and actively support it, to invest the money into new startups. We need not be fearful of the fact that disruption is going to happen, because if we don't disrupt ourselves, guess what? Someone else is. Right? So if we as a community, if we as a state want to be at the leading edge of innovation, we better accept disruption as part of our lives. The shared ownership really lies between the community, it lies with the leaders, and it lies with the established businesses. The greater MSP initiative, right? That's the right set of people who really need to make this as a priority.
Together, we're thinking about what each of our needs are and how do we together solve this.
If we do this right, if we pay attention to the right data, we can really take advantage of our opportunity to get a leg up on some of those other regions that really haven't started this conversation yet.